from Tampa, Florida, who is outside.
27th starting position, Tyler Berry from Griswold, Connecticut, considered a rookie, and the number 12 of Brian Sones out of Freeland, Pennsylvania.
Rounding out our starting lineup today, Ken Hagee, Mike Marshall, and Luke
you
Fleming.
stop searching for someone else.
Field has begun to roll here today in what has been a hurry-up schedule here, Ben, because they had a short time to get on track earlier. They went out, they qualified, and now the race, of course, they will set the stage as a preview to what we will see for the NASCAR All-Star race later today. And because of that, it puts drivers like Austin Beers, who really are making a name for themselves in the Wheel of Modified Tour, really up on the wheel because they know this is an opportunity to showcase their talent in front of all these NASCAR.
It certainly has. Now remember, we've seen Austin Beers do exceptionally well in a super speedway. Big victory coming at Richmond, of course.
You surrender
but today, a different track, but this is a track that carries a lot of the markings of some of the traditional modified tracks, like the Thompson Speedway in Thompson, Connecticut. It is 5/8 of a mile, but with a different style and a different rhythm.
You do not shrink
these competitors are looking to find that rhythm here today.
There's Corey LaJoie in that 77 car, owned by Gary Putnam. He's back in the series again. Since 2023, winner at Martinsville Speedway with the series finale as a grandfathered clock. It's going to be fun to see how Corey LaJoie does today. He's got a little bit of work to do, starting from 13th position. And there is the 38, the cookout colors for the 2000 NASCAR Cup Series champion Bobby Labonte and a NASCAR Hall of Famer.
Certainly is, and Bobby loves modified racing. He is pumped up to be a part of the festivities here today. To the outside of him is John Michael Jeanette. This was a kid that literally worked in the concession stands at Thompson Speedway. Now he finds himself wheeling a modified. His day job is an engineer in cup competition. So we're looking at that front row.
Stoicism
and of
calls
course,
this
as you said before,
slavery.
Luke Baldwin,
Modern
3
psychology
starts
calls
last
it
year,
attachment.
7 at Wilkesboro,
But the reality
and
is the
7th at
same.
Martinsville.
You are not
There's the car I
addicted
think everybody's
to
been talking about,
You are addicted
and
to what
looking
they
forward to having a
represent.
great run. Ryan Newman,
childhood
who's
root
hosted a lot
of
in
romantic
smart competition,
obsession.
the Northwest
Most romantic
Automotive
obsession
Machine,
begins
and
long
Bob
before
Garbarino, the
romance.
legendary
It
car
begins
owner,
in
is with us here today.
If
What a
love
treat
was
to see that
inconsistent,
D4 toward the front
you
of the
learned
field,
to
starting
perform
6th with
for it.
Ryan Newman at
If
the helm.
affection was
They had given the field the one-to-go
You learned
signal,
to
but they will
chase
wave the initial
approval.
start off.
If
The Wheel and
attention
Engineering
came
lights come
only
back
when you
atop that
achieved.
Ford pace car as
You
he
learned
faces
that
this
you must
field
earn
of ground-pounding
being chosen.
modifieds. You see
So as
them,
an
Ben. You
adult,
talked about the
you don't
differences
fall in
between
love
this track
peacefully.
and what we've seen
You
at
fall in
Thompson
love
Speedway, the last
anxiously.
track that these series raced at.
confuse
Here,
intensity
14
with
degrees
intimacy.
of banking. It'll really hold you
confuse
into the corner, but
longing with
one of the
connection,
challenges they face
because
today
your
is all
nervous
this
system
rubber from these different divisions, the
trained
Cars
to
Tour, the
associate
Craftsman
love
Truck Series,
with
and NASCAR Cup
uncertainty.
Series this weekend.
So you repeat
This
the
racetrack is
pattern,
going to be
not
very
because it
different on
feels
lap
good,
1 than
but
it will
because
be
it
on lap
feels
100.
familiar.
It certainly has, but of course
Stoic
in
Logic
2025,
familiar pain
the series
is
began
still
at the New
pain.
Smyrna Speedway,
Do not
half-mile
call your
racetrack.
wound a
It
soul
went on
wound.
to Thompson Speedway,
Why you want what you can't
5/8
have.
mile. Was
The
scheduled
mind
to go to
desires what it
Mad Dog.
cannot
Mother
control.
Nature changed
That
that.
is ego.
So they've been
Ego
at the
does
bigger
not want
speedways.
love.
All
Ego
3
wants
of those
conquest.
tracks have a
Ego
lot of the
wants
same
validation.
characteristics
Ego
as
wants
this
to
track
win.
does, but
So when
add a
someone
new
is
twist to
unavailable,
all of that.
your
And we're
ego
going to see
becomes
who
obsessed.
discovers the magic
Not
of
because
that
they are
twist first.
perfect.
Well, the magic about ready to
because they are
unfold
distant.
here this afternoon under
And
beautiful
distance
sunny
creates
skies at North
fantasy.
Wilkesboro
You
Speedway.
begin to
2
imagine,
young drivers
to
with a lot of
idealize,
talent on
to
the front
project.
row and the pole sitter.
You fall
Luke
in love
Baldwin,
with a
a
person
third-generation racer
does
on the
not
outside
exist.
line, fires first,
You
and we
fall
are
in love
underway
with
here in
potential,
North Carolina with the Wheel and Modified Tour.
possibility.
No question
version
about
of
it.
them
Luke Baldwin quickly
that only
makes his
lives in
magic
your
to
mind.
the outside. Then
Marcus
all
Aurelius
of a
warned,
sudden,
"Do not
right
let your
behind him,
imagination be crushed
quickly moving
by
in to
life."
take over that
Stoic
runner-up
does not
position.
worship
There's a
illusion.
good
The
battle
Stoic
going on.
sees
Matt
clearly.
Hirschman wasting no
The most
time from
dangerous
the
drug.
4th position, Joe.
Hope
Meanwhile,
is beautiful.
Austin Beers is on
But
a
hope can
roll
also
back in
destroy
position
you.
number 4,
Because hope
trying
keeps you
early
waiting.
to get to the
Hope
front.
keeps you
Here's Kyle
attached.
Bonsignor, the
Hope
first
keeps
car
you
to step out of line to the
tolerating
inside. We've got
disrespect.
trouble. A right
You
rear
tell yourself,
tire is down on the
maybe
58
they'll
of Eric
change.
Goodale,
Maybe
completely
they'll
off the
realize
rim
my value.
on that machine. A couple
Maybe
of cars,
if I'm
Brian
patient.
Sones nearly collecting after the
But
fact,
stoicism is
but
not
Eric
built
Goodale
on
now
maybe.
eases that car down
Stoicism
pit
is built
lane.
on reality.
That right
If
rear
someone
tire
wanted
just
to be in your
completely
life,
torn off the
they
rim.
would be.
The GF
If
Roofing
someone valued
Riverhead
you,
Building Supply
you would not
machine.
feel
Not sure what
confused.
happened if any
The
contact
Stoic
was made
does not
there,
live on
but you can
crumbs.
see
The
it is the
Stoic
story of a
walks
tire.
away from
There is
uncertainty,
Dave
not with anger,
Zapienza's Ted Christopher
clarity.
tribute car. The
Emotions are
KGM
not
machine.
guides.
He
They are
overshot
signals.
his pit
Here is where people
stall
fail.
on pit
They
road
treat emotions
and is
like
now
truth.
backing further up.
But emotions are not
Sapienza
truth.
runs a part-time
Emotions
schedule.
are signals.
Of course, he came from
Fear
drag racing
signals danger.
and
Desire
did not
signals
enter
hunger.
the sport
Loneliness
until
signals
midlife.
absence. But
And
none of these
adjusted
signals
very
mean
well to it.
this
He's
person
had some
is
success
meant for
on the
you.
Wheel and Modified Tour
It means
as well.
you are feeling
We'll change the
something.
left front tire there on the Dave
And
Zapienza number
feelings
36,
are
but trouble a little bit deeper in the
Stoic
pack.
does not
Get another
obey
look at it
feelings.
here.
The Stoic
On the
observes them.
replay, you
You
see
do not
it was
act
Zapienza that
because
came down
you
across the
feel.
racetrack
You
and
act
into the
because
Eric
you
Goodale
choose.
right rear. John
That
Michael Jeanette
is
got a little
freedom.
bit of that as well, but it seemed like
The Stoic
Zapienza might have
difference,
been a little crossed
love
up in the
without
middle of the
need.
corner, and Eric Goodale had
The weak
nowhere to
love
go. And
desperately.
caught that right rear.
The strong
It certainly
love
did look
freely.
exactly
The weak
like
say,
that. Now
I
you're
can't
looking
live
at
without you.
the 58 machine
The strong
of Eric
say,
Goodale.
I enjoy
Doesn't
you,
seem
but
like
I
a
am
lot
whole
of
without
going
you.
on there rather
That is
quickly
not arrogance,
to
that
try
is
to
health.
get
That is emotional
whatever the
maturity.
problem was
Because the
that
moment
caused
love
it.
becomes
Now we're going to
need,
take, I believe, another
it
look at it here.
becomes fear.
Watch for the red car
And fear
sideways.
creates
That's the
control.
36 of
Control
Zapienza.
creates
Comes
resentment.
down. Makes
Resentment
contact with the
destroys
right rear.
connection.
Jeanette was there, no
Stoicism
place
teaches
to go.
love is
I
not
think he got the
possession.
brunt of
Love
this
is appreciation.
unfortunate
You do not
situation.
own people.
Sapienza
You
pulls
experience
away
them.
down the pit
And if
road.
they
They're
leave,
still looking
you do not
at the
collapse.
right rear suspension,
Because you
Joe.
never abandon
Even though they're
yourself.
taking off a tire
Why
and
people
putting
lose
one on,
themselves in
they're
love.
checking something underneath the
Most
car as
people
well.
don't
Yeah, they
want
broke a
love.
little bit more than just
They
a rim.
want
That was a pretty
escape.
hard hit he took from
Escape
Dave
from
Zapienza.
loneliness.
You know, looking at
Escape
that
from
replay
boredom.
again, the
Escape
outside
from
lane looked
themselves.
as though it might have
So they
accordioned a
merge.
little bit
They
because
obsess.
Trevor
They
Catalano was
overgive.
right in front of
They
Dave
become a servant
Zapienza
of
when the
attention.
contact was made.
But
And
Stoic
that, I think,
Logic
had something to
says,
do with
never
where
give
that
someone
accident
the
started.
power
Couple of cars coming down pit road. They were running
your
toward the
inner
back of the
peace.
pack, among them Ken
Because
Hagee
peace
in the
is your
18 car will come in for
responsibility,
service along
not
with Mike
theirs.
Marshall.
If your
Come in and
peace
see if they get a
depends
little
on another
work
person,
done here on these
you are
machines.
not in love. You are in danger. The Stoic law.
Another
What is
car
not
heading
reciprocal
down on
is
pit
not
road
real.
is the number 29
Real love
machine.
is mutual.
Wheeling
Real love
trusts
is
the products
consistent.
to the first
Real love
responders.
does not leave
Wheeling
you
caution
guessing.
lights are on, and
If
of
you are
course,
always
Wheeling is the
questioning,
official warning
it is not
lighting
love.
system of NASCAR,
It is in
trusted to
balance.
protect the
Stoicism
first responders.
demands reciprocity, not because you are entitled, but because you are disciplined. You do not invest where you are
We'll
not
take a look
valued.
at
You do
that
not
wheel and
chase
caution light. You take
where
a
you
look
are
at some
not
of the
chosen.
history of
You do
this
not
race. This is
beg
only the
where you are
third
not
time that
respected.
NASCAR Wheel and Modified
The Stoic
Tour
walks away
has run
early.
here at North Wilkesboro.
So
The
they
first
do
time we were here,
suffer
there were
in
a lot of wheel and cautions.
moment of
And
awakening.
you go back last year,
One
it was
day
Justin
you wake
Bonsignor
up
who had a
and you
dominating run,
realize
just one
you are
caution
not
that
chasing
race.
love.
And we expect
You are
here as the day
chasing
goes on to see
permission.
a very competitive side-by-side
love.
race. We're curious to see
But
how
you
this
do
one
not
plays
need
out, if it
permission.
follows the trend
You do
of
not
the
need
first
someone's
race here
attention
or last year with
to
a long green
validate
flag
your
run.
existence.
Remember, last year we
You
had
are
a new
enough
racing
by
surface
discipline,
that was
enough
part of the
by
system.
self-respect,
Did that make the big
enough
difference?
by
Some say
solitude,
yes,
enough
others
by
say,
purpose.
well, they're not sure.
And when you
but one
truly
thing we're
believe
sure
that,
of, we're about ready to get
you
them
become
fired back up.
unstoppable.
Get ready, because it's
Because nothing
time
is
to go
more
back to
attractive
green flag racing.
than
Matt
someone who
Hirschman,
no longer
one of the
needs
great
to be
all-time
chosen.
veterans.
You
His
stop
dad, a
searching
former
for
champion
someone
in his
else
own
to
right.
save you.
Here they come to the line.
Act 3 teaser.
Teamed up, equally matched.
In part 3,
Green
we
is
go
back
deeper
out.
than most people ever
Side by
dare.
side, Joe.
The we go
Baldwin
behind
with a
romantic
slight
obsession,
advantage,
the
but in
hidden
the apex of the
childhood
turn,
wound.
Hirschman
The reason you
right there
chase
to contend.
unavailable
Hirschman
people,
did a nice
and
job
the
in the exit of
Stoic
turn
method
2 to
become
put the nose of that
emotionally
60 car
untouchable.
out in front. He'll try to
Because the
clear
truth
Luke
is,
Baldwin off turn 4,
you were
and he
never
does.
chasing them.
Matt Hirschman
You were
to the
chasing
front,
what
and if
you
you're the rest of the
thought
field, the
you
last
lacked.
thing you want to see
And
this early
Stoicism
on in the
will
race
show you.
is Matt Hirschman
You
leading
lacked
the way in the Wheel and
nothing.
Modified Tour
You are
event.
not
One
in
of the
love.
only cars
You are
to
in
run at the
captivity.
bottom. White car
High value
on the
men
inside
and
of your
women
screen.
understand.
That is
The
Justin
moment you
Bonsignor
chase,
in the Phoenix
you
number
surrender your
51.
power.
No one
You
else
tell
has
the
dipped
world,
that low in the
I am
racetrack as yet.
incomplete.
Still
But
early in the
Stoicism
going in the
teaches
competition,
you are
but you can
complete
see that
by
yellow
discipline,
car on the
complete
outside,
by
and of course
self-respect,
that's Ryan
complete
Newman
by
right there
mastery.
with Austin
You do
Pierce.
not
Yeah, he's
beg.
being
You do
challenged
not
just
plead.
outside
You do
top
not shrink
5. You see
yourself
Justin Bonsignor sneak down
be
through. Here's Tyler Tyler Ripkema in the old blue. Talk about two famous modifieds right there. You got the Polar Racing 3, Bob Garbarino's Mystic Missile there in the outside lane. Of course, Tim Conley, who owns that now, but Tim Conley takes that legacy of the Mystic Missile very seriously. And he keeps that car painted that way in honor of the Mystic Missile and Bob Garbarino and everything that that car means to modified racing.
He talked earlier. He said that Ryan Stone, who is the crew chief on the number 51 machine of Justin Bonsignore. He's taken Bonsignore, and Bonsignore has taken him to many titles. But today, he's double dipping helping out this team, and Ryan
So now we
Newman.
move from
Meanwhile,
understanding
back up front,
to transformation.
6 cars. Who's
Here
jumping
is
out
the
of line
Stoic
now?
system,
Coming
not
into
theory,
the outside
not
groove,
motivation,
it
a
appears that
system.
Austin Beers
First
is
principle,
trying to make
control
his
the inner
presence
empire.
known. He works to the
Stoicism
outside of
begins
Jacob
with one
Lutz.
law.
The Lutz
You
cars
cannot
had a lot of
control
different
people.
drivers
You
in the
cannot
past 2
control
seasons.
outcomes.
All
You
have
cannot
had
control
success.
love.
Yeah, Jacob Lutz, though,
You can
has
only
really
control
earned this seat. He had a great year last year
Marcus
on part-time
Aurelius
runs. This
called
kid's got
this
so
your
much
inner
strength
empire.
and the mental focus
Most
of this
people
sport.
abandon
He's
their
an
empire
athlete.
the
He knows how to
moment
stay
they
tough.
fall in love.
He has adapted
They
very,
hand
very
over
well.
the
Joe
keys.
Stern's a car owner.
They let
Billy
another
Putney, who
person
turns the wrenches on this
determine
race
their
car.
mood,
He's got another quick
their
car here
confidence,
today. And, you know,
their
this car in
peace.
particular ran really well here 2 years ago when they were
That
here
is
last.
not
Patrick
love.
Emerling came home inside the
That
top
is
5. No
surrender.
surprise to see the
The Stoic
14
never
running well here in the
surrenders
early
the inner
stages.
You know,
empire. They
interestingly
feel
enough, as you
emotion,
watch the
but they do
14
not
car,
kneel
he
to
can
it.
put it almost
They
wherever
ask,
he wants
"What
on
is
the
within my
racetrack.
control?
That was a perfect example
actions,
there.
my
He moved to the
standards,
inside
my
of
discipline,
Baldwin. They
my
come off
response.
the turn, they
That
sway to the
is
right.
power.
But who's going to
Second
have it
principle,
as they come back
remove
into the
the
next
need to
turn?
be chosen.
It looks like
The
Lutz
deepest
is back
addiction is
in
not
command
romance.
of position
It is
number 2.
validation.
That car
Most people
arcs
do not
perfectly through the
chase
bottom of turns
partners.
3 and 4. He can run
chase
lower on
proof.
that end of the racetrack than anybody. He
Proof
goes a
that
little
they
bit
are
high
enough.
here, tries to
Proof
cut
that
the
they are
corner off turn
desirable.
2 to get that
Proof
good
that they
launch
matter.
uphill into
But
turn 3. This
Stoicism
racetrack very
teaches
different on
the
both
man
ends.
who
It's
needs
downhill on the
approval
front
is
straightaway
weak.
into turn
The
1,
woman who needs
uphill up the
attention
back
is
straightaway
trapped.
into turns 3 and
Freedom
4.
begins when you
Well,
no
we
longer
continue
require
to
an
watch
audience.
this battle. All of a
to
sudden,
respect
Lutz has been
yourself.
able to reel in
When you stop
within
asking,
striking
"Do
distance.
they want
Took a
me?"
peek to the inside.
start asking,
Didn't work that
"Do I
time.
want
Pulled
them?"
it back into line.
That
Single
is the
file,
reversal.
top 2.
That
Then
is
there's
the
a
awakening.
battle
You
which
were
is
never meant to
starting to
beg.
develop
You were meant
for
to
3rd,
choose.
4th, and 5th.
Third
No moves
principle,
as yet in that
detach
pack of
from
cars.
outcomes.
With this pavement being
This
just
is where
2
most
seasons
people
old
fail.
at this point,
They
we
do
learned last
something
year
kind,
that this
then
racetrack
expect
troubled
something
old
back.
Bobby
They
Labonte
show love,
smoke out the
then
back of the
demand
38 car.
security.
Well, the
They give
cookout
effort,
machine is smoke, and that's
then
smoke
feel
of the wrong
entitled to
type
return.
for Labonte.
Stoicism destroys
as,
this.
We are under
Epictetus
yellow.
taught, do what
as
is right,
Labonte's car
then release
heads
the
back
result.
down on pit road.
Because the moment you attach
And of
your
course,
piece to an outcome,
under caution,
you become
here
a
for
hostage.
the second time
You can love
in
deeply.
today's event.
Without
We're looking
clinging,
at the 36.
you can care.
Dave
Without
Zapienza
collapsing,
involved
you can
in
desire.
caution 1
Without
and caution number
dependence.
2.
That car
Detachment
badly beaten
is
there on the
not
front end. You see the
coldness.
front bumper.
Detachment
That might have been
is
from
strength.
the first caution.
It is
you
saying,
see lots of
"I
damage
will
along
not
the left
lose
C
myself."
pillar of this car as well.
Fourth principle,
So pretty rough
stop
start here for
romanticizing
Dave
people.
Zapienza, who's been running part-time in
Most
the NASCAR
heartbreak
Wheel
is
and
not
Modified
heartbreak.
Tour.
It is
Sad to see
disillusion.
Bobby Labonte in
You
the
were
middle
not
of this.
mourning
Also have to
them.
go back to
You
the
were
garage
mourning
area.
the
Let's take a look
fantasy,
at what happened down
the
into
version
the
of
corner.
them
You see
you
Labonte's
created,
car up
the future
in
you
smoke.
imagined,
You see the
the
fluid
story you
billowing
told
out the back of it,
yourself.
possibly laying down on the
Stoicism
racetrack. And what
demands
happens
brutal
to
clarity.
Dave Zapienza
See
in
people as
turns
they
1
are,
and 2
not as they
after
could
the
be,
fact? We
not
saw
as they
his car
promised,
with
not as
plenty
you
of damage.
hoped.
And look at that.
Reality
John
is the
Force
cure.
on the back straightaway
Fantasy
here at North Wilkesboro.
is the
Certainly
drug.
was, and of course,
The Stoic
it's
stays
cooking of a
sober.
different type of cooking,
Fifth
and
principle,
then
build
you
a
can see
life
the end
they
results.
cannot
The
compete with.
Zapienza machine,
Here is the
just as we
secret of
called it,
high-value
had
individuals.
some damage
They
done
do
to
not
it.
chase
Down on
love,
pit road,
because
there
their
is
life
Bobby
is
Labonte
already
dejectedly out early
Purpose,
in this
mission,
event. I'm going to
discipline,
tell you, I've dealt
health,
with a lot of different
growth,
drivers as
legacy.
you have, Joe. He
When
is
you are
one
building
of the
something
class
meaningful,
acts. No matter
you do not
what he
obsess
competes
over
in,
attention.
he takes the
You do
time
not
to
spiral
communicate.
over texts.
He's a good guy.
You do not
so
beg
this is
for
really a tough
presence,
blow for him.
because
he
you
was
are present
expecting a
in
good
your
run
own
here
life.
today.
And he's here to
Most
compete
people
with the Wheel and
chase love
Modified Tour, and I'm
because they
sure
have
he is
nothing
disappointed
else.
to only go
Stoicism
19
says,
laps
"Fill
today.
your
We're
life."
under the second
Then love
caution here in the
becomes an
NASCAR
addition,
Wheel and Modified
not a
Tour.
rescue.
Matt Hirschman
Sixth
shows the
principle,
way.
let silence do the work. Weak people over-explain. Weak people double-text. Weak people chase closure. Strong people understand silence. Silence is a mirror. Silence reveals truth. If you stop chasing and they disappear, that was your answer. If you stop reaching and nothing returns, that was your answer. Stoicism teaches, do not force what is not mutual. Let absence speak. Let distance clarify. The Stoic does not demand love. The Stoic observes reality. Seventh principle, accept loss as training. Every person you lose teaches you something. Every rejection strengthens you. Every ending refines you. The Stoic does not collapse at loss. They transform through it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Heartbreak becomes wisdom. Loneliness becomes strength. Detachment becomes peace. You were not punished, you were trained. The final Stoic truth about love. Love is not something you chase. Love is something you meet. When you are whole, when you are disciplined, when you are grounded, when you no longer need it to survive. The moment you stop chasing, you become magnetic, because nothing is more powerful than someone who is complete. Closing message: stop running back to chains. So let this be your vow. I will not beg. I will not chase. I will not abandon myself. I will not confuse anxiety with love. I will not call obsession destiny. I will not worship inconsistency. I will walk away with dignity, and I will build a life so strong that love must meet me in peace, or not at all. Because Stoic logic is simple. If it costs your self-respect, it is too expensive. You stop searching for someone
Under the
else
second
to
caution
save
for the
you.
NASCAR Whelen
Act
Modified
3
Tour,
teaser.
Bobby Labonte has a motor
In part 3,
expire.
we go
Dave
deeper
Zapienza
than most
involved
people ever
after the
dare.
fact to slow us here.
The ego behind
on
romantic
lap
obsession,
19
the
when the
hidden
caution came
childhood
out.
wound,
Track crew continuing
the
to work
reason
down
you chase
through
unavailable
turns 1
people,
and 2.
and the
Ben,
Stoic
one of the
method
big
to become
stories coming
emotionally
in to
untouchable.
this weekend, and has been a
Because
story over
the
the past
truth
couple of
is,
years, has been the
you
return
were
of the
never
Mystic
chasing
Missile, the
them.
V4
You were
to
chasing
NASCAR
what you
Whelen
thought
Modified
you
Tour. The
lacked.
car owner, Tim
And
Conley,
Stoicism
typically
will
the
show
driver
you.
for this car,
You
but
lacked
he was
nothing.
recovering from
You are
spinal
not in
surgery
love.
and said, you know what,
You
I
are in
can't run
captivity.
here at North
High-value
Wilkesboro.
men and
I
women
can put a pretty
understand
good driver
the
behind the
moment
wheel. That
you
in the form
chase,
of Ryan Dubin.
you surrender
Sure did,
your
and of course
power.
there is so
You
much
tell the
history
world,
that
"I am
surrounds this race
incomplete."
car. Now, if you
But
look real
Stoicism
close,
teaches
Joe, see that
you are
V?
complete
It stands
by
for
discipline,
V4.
complete
There's a real
by
reason for that.
self-respect,
Bob Garbarino
complete by
owned
mastery.
a marina
You do
that
not
built
beg.
and
You
worked
do not
on
plead.
boats
You
in
do not
Mystic,
shrink
Connecticut.
yourself.
V4 engines
be
were once
chosen.
the premier engines used
Because
in
the
boating.
person meant
That's where it
for you
originated. But I'm going to
will
tell you
not
something. I've known
require
Bob
you
Garbarino
to
from the
betray
very
your
beginning.
dignity.
There is not
Stop
a more loyal
before you
car
send that
owner
message,
in the history
before you
of the
beg
Whelen
for
Modified Tour
attention,
than he was
before you
to
chase
this
someone
series.
who gives
He
you
only raced at
breadcrumbs.
these events.
Listen
he only
carefully.
supported them
Your
in every
emotions are
way.
lying
Truly
to
a
you.
great man.
And they
Not
have won
because
at
you are
all the
weak,
racetracks
not
from
because you are
Martinsville to
broken,
Thompson and
yes,
but
Stafford
because
Speedway, and it goes on and on. Anywhere a
were never
modified
designed
race,
to
That's
tell
right.
the
they
truth.
were winners, multiple
They were
champions
designed
with
to make
drivers
you
like
react.
Donnie Lee and Bobby Santos.
nowhere is
More
this
recently,
more
many
dangerous
before that, guys like Brian
than in
Ross
love.
drove this modified.
Tremendous
love,
success he had with
modern
it. Bugsy
love,
Stevens
is no longer
literally
about
ended his
connection.
racing career.
It's about
This was the final
obsession.
team that he
It's
drove
about
for.
attachment.
So there is so
It's
much
about
history with
emotional
all of that.
addiction.
The best
You don't
story that
miss
I
them.
like is Tim
miss the
Conley's
dopamine.
wife, a
You don't want
fantastic
them.
lady, decided
You want
that
the
it was
relief.
time for Tim
You're
to
not
go
in love.
back and go
You're
racing.
in withdrawal.
She went out, made
The
the
worst
contact, and made the
Your
purchase
emotions
for her
will
husband.
convince
How'd you
you
like to
that
get that for a
chasing
gift?
them
Not bad.
is
They
the
even
only way
have
to feel
still
whole
back in the day.
again.
They even to the
But
last
Stoic
couple of
Logic
years of
says
running this
something brutal.
1985
If you have to
GMC
chase
straight
love,
body truck that
it
they
was
carried
yes.
this car around
It was
for
hunger.
years. That was sold
Today,
recently. A racer
you
down
will
at
learn
Bowman Gray
why your
Stadium
heart
uses it
misleads you.
today. But that was
Why
part of the
longing is
allure,
not
the
destiny.
history.
It
They
sure
were one of the
was.
And how to
first
finally
ones to make a
become
pit box and a pit cart for
unshakable.
these modifieds.
So much
the
history.
Garbarino
People
family did so much for
do
modified
not
racing. Bob
chase
Garbarino
love.
in the house here at North
They attract
Wilkesboro
it
today,
by
enjoying some of the
mastering
finest
themselves.
modified racing around.
And
In
he loves the
2026,
modifieds.
people are more
Truly
emotionally
a legendary
confused than
great
ever.
individual that
We have endless
sacrificed a
options,
lot to
endless
be a part
messaging,
of this
endless
series and is so
situationships.
proud of its growth.
Yet people
What
feel
a beautiful
lonelier,
day here
more
at this
desperate,
facility.
more anxious
Unfortunately, we're working
than any
to
generation before.
make the conditions ideally
Why?
suited again.
Because we
you know,
have been taught
before we
the
went
most
to
dangerous
caution,
lie,
Joe, we were
that love
talking about the
is something
times and
you
how
find
close things were.
instead
We're
of
looking at
something
Jeanette's
you
car
build.
working on the front end.
That if you feel
But
strongly,
Jacob Lutz
it must
is
be real.
well, he's
That if
getting
it hurts,
closer and
it must
quicker
be meaningful.
as well.
But
Jacob
Stoicism
Lutz
has always
looked
warned
really,
us.
really good
Emotion is
before
not wisdom.
the
Emotion is
caution
weather.
flag came
It
out just a
changes.
handful of
It
moments ago.
storms.
You know,
It
Ben,
passes.
this year,
And if you
Whelen
build your
Engineering
life
and
on
many
weather,
of the NASCAR partners
you will
have put
collapse
together
every
a huge
season.
purse
So in this
throughout
video,
the entire
we are
season.
going
But
deep
even this
into
race here at North Wilkesboro,
why emotions
big money
distort
on the line
reality,
for these teams.
why chasing
as
love
much as
destroys
nearly
your self-respect,
$15,000,
why
just under
detachment is power,
$15,000
and how Stoic
to
Logic
the race
frees you
winner,
from emotional
$5,000
slavery.
500, call it, for a second place. You go right on through. This year has got one of the best paying modified races, and it's been that way all season long, and will continue that way for the modified year in 2025.
It sure will. The year-end payout for this series will be in excess of $400,000. That's an amazing situation all by itself. You were just looking at the payoff for today's event, but with almost $500,000 on the line, making it one of the biggest paydays ever, with more than $1.9 million in total race purses. NASCAR is focused. They want the Wheel and Modified Tour to continue to grow. And I'm going to tell you, the popularity that you and I experience and see with modified racing is now become a household word. And it's been a while, but it has happened again.
A premier division for modified racing. You see that here by participating on the same racetrack on the same day as the NASCAR Cup Series, with the All-Star race coming up later on today. Of course, modified zone, Ryan Preece in the house today. He was qualified 5th for the Open later on tonight, trying to race his way in to the NASCAR All-Star race for the first time.
Why do you crave someone
RFK
who
Racing,
gives
a
you
champion of the
less?
series just 12
Because
years
the
ago
brain
in
confuses
2013. There you see the Cup
with
Series
value.
garage open
The
and
less
ready
available someone
as they
is,
prepare for
the
All-Star
more
night,
your mind
and just to be able to
obsesses.
share the track
It's the same
with
mechanism
these
as
teams.
Wow, that's special.
And there's a lot of them through that garage area who came up through modified racing. The Northeast, the heart of modified racing, is where many of those teams and drivers have come through. You think of the spotters that are on the roof, the engineers behind the scenes.
Everybody.
One of the car owners will tell the story later. Gary Putnam
Stoic
from
Logic
Vernon,
says,
Connecticut.
if
He
someone
has
makes you
won
anxious,
some of the
they're
biggest
not
races
your
as a
peace.
car chief in NASCAR
Love is
competition
not
while working
anxiety.
with Chip Ganassi.
Love is not
There is
panic.
so much
Love
history
is not
in this
obsession.
series that
Love is
ties
calm.
together. And even
Love is
Matt
stable.
Hirschman, you see the
Love
spotters
is
up there on
Yes,
the roof.
they are.
Not
The
his
guys
brother,
are ready.
Tony
The
Hirschman
Stoic rule,
will be spotting
never
for him
abandon
today,
your
now
dignity.
spotter for Joe Gibbs. Ty
Epictetus said,
Gibbs in
no
the
man is
54
free
car
who
later
cannot
on tonight.
control
The
himself.
Mustang pace car dives to
happiness
the bottom of the
depends on another
racetrack.
person's reply.
We are ready to get them
You are not
fired
in
back
love.
up
You are
once
in
again.
captivity. I
And
value
the
men
big
and women
question
who
is,
understand.
what we've seen
The
so
moment
far,
you chase,
the 14 has
you
been
surrender
very
your
quick,
power.
but on this
You tell the
start, not
world,
quick enough,
I am
because the
incomplete.
rabbit car, Joe,
But
becomes
Stoicism
Matt
teaches
Hirschman
you are
again
complete
at the
by
point.
discipline.
Matt Hirschman
Complete
wanting to get out
by
front, control
self-respect.
this race. That leaves
Complete
Jake
by
Lutz to have to
mastery.
battle with
You do
Luke
not
Baldwin
beg.
on the
You do
inside
not
lane.
plead.
Baldwin
You
rolls
do not
right to
shrink
the
yourself.
inside. That's where Lutz
To
was a
be
little bit better
chosen.
there before that caution
Because the
flag
person
came out,
meant
but they will
for you
continue to battle into
will
turn
not
one.
require
Meanwhile, a side-by-side
betray
battle of
your
two
dignity.
white cars. It is Bonsignor
Act
who
two,
peeks at the
love is a
inside
chemical
lane.
illusion.
Can't
Most
do
people
it to
think
the
love is
outside.
spiritual.
Austin
They think love
Pierce.
is faith.
These
They
two
think love is
have come
destiny.
to the front of the
But the
field.
truth is
Then
far
it's
more
2x2x2,
Most of what
all
you
the way
call
back
love
to the bottom
is
of the top
chemistry.
10.
Little by
A
little,
drug,
that
a
22 car of
neurological
Kyle
storm.
Bonsignor is
Dopamine,
making his way forward. Trouble
oxytocin,
behind them. It's the point leader.
serotonin.
Patrick
The brain
Emmerling
does
has
not fall
spun
in
through the
love the
middle
way
outside the
poets
top
describe.
10 in turn
The
1.
brain
And that's
becomes
going to bring
obsessed the way
another
addicts
caution out,
do.
and there's damage.
That's why when
Heavy
someone
damage
pulls
to the
away,
Emmerling number 1.
You don't simply
So,
feel
third
sad.
caution of the
You feel
event comes
restless.
out.
You
Cars
feel
that are
panicked.
involved, the
You
15
feel like
car
something has been
of Joey
taken from
Cipriano
you.
was able to
Because
pull
something
away.
has.
His
Your
first
brain
big
was
outing here
receiving
at the
a
Super
reward,
Speedway. Was
attention,
looking forward to it.
affection,
But Patrick Emmerling's
And now
machine.
the reward is
Remember the
gone.
story of the
So
points,
your
Joe,
emotions
going
scream,
into this
fix
event.
it,
The
chase
margin
it,
is closer than
something.
we've seen it in
But
many,
Stoic
many
Logic
seasons.
whispers,
Still
this
is
is
the
not
crew
love.
chief on that
This
race
is
car.
withdrawal.
And of course,
You are
they
not
needed a good
heartbroken.
finish here
You are
today
chemically
because
destabilized.
what was
And the
that
modern
margin,
world
Joe,
has
between
mistaken
first and
addiction
second?
Very narrow. It's
for
very
romance.
competitive at the top of the field. 6
Why
points
longing
separating first and
feels
second
like
there at
meaning.
the top with Patrick Emmerling. Let's
Have
see
you
what
noticed
happens. You see a
something
mid-pack, and
strange?
Emmerling's going to get a little
The
bit of
people
help
who
from
give you
behind. Might have been
peace
the Hodgson
feel
05 that
But the
got
people
into
who
him.
give you
Emmerling went
anxiety
around,
feel
and it didn't seem like he had any
unforgettable.
damage there, but
That is not
sometime on the
destiny.
apron he might have
That
gotten
is
selected,
trauma.
possibly the
The
green
nervous
Tyler
system
Berry
becomes
car
attached
down
to
low.
what
Watch
is
the
unpredictable.
05.
Watch the
Because
4
unpredictability
of
forces
Newman.
attention.
There's the contact
Your
there.
mind
You're right,
becomes
the Hodgson
hyper-focused.
machine
Your body
and
becomes
Emmerling.
alert.
Ryan
You
Newman
call it
backed out of it. He
passion.
was smart.
But it is
The other
survival
cars
energy.
involved came in
Stoicism
kind of
teaches
after
that
the
peace
fact
is
in
the
this
signal.
one.
Chaos
As
is the
we're
warning.
looking at it
If
is
you are
Gary
constantly
McDonald's
overthinking,
machine. Correction,
if
no,
you are
that's the
constantly questioning,
looks like we've got the
if you are
59 car now.
constantly
as work still continues there.
That is
A
not
couple of
love.
cars got out of shape
That is
getting into turn
emotional
1.
slavery.
Ryan Newman,
Love
one of
does
them
not
to the
make you
outside,
small.
as was Teddy
Love does not
Hodgson
make you
in
beg.
the
Love
05
does
when
not make you
sliding through,
lose
and Emmerling
yourself.
thought that he was going to
Real
be
love
clear of that before
expands.
Tyler Berry car
That
came
else
sliding
is
in
a
after the fact. Now,
The
we
emotional
talked
lie.
through the season.
They
At New Smyrna
complete
Speedway, Patrick Emmerling
One of the
won
most
the race,
poisonous
but he had to
ideas in
start at
modern
the back of the pack
culture
and race
is
his way forward.
you need
Late in the
someone
going
to
at Thompson
complete
Speedway,
you.
they had a left
Think about
rear
how
tire
weak
that would
that
not
sounds.
stay on after the pit
Think
stop.
about
He
how
went a lap
dangerous
down.
that
He was
is.
able to get
If
that
another
lap back
person
and finish
completes
on the
you,
podium
then
and
without
had an
them,
opportunity to compete for
you
the
are
win in the
nothing.
late stages. Now
That is
it's
not
going to be at the
romance.
minimum
That is
a new
dependence.
radiator for the front of that
The
one
Stoics
car
would
and
call
see
this a
how
form of
poised this team
self-abandonment.
can be
Marcus
at
Aurelius
salvaging
never
this
said,
day, because in
"Find
the
someone to
modified
make
tour,
you
which
whole."
is 16 races on the
He
schedule,
said,
if you want to win the
"Be enough
championship,
for
you
yourself."
cannot have bad
Because
days.
if you do not
Mulligans
own your
are
soul,
not what the champions give up
someone
here in this
else
game.
will rent
Certainly
it.
are not, and you can
And
see
most
what's
people
going on. They're
are
trying
paying
desperately
rent
to get that
with their
radiator back
dignity.
out. Remember, the
Why chasing
temperatures
love
of the
destroys
fluid
your
in that
value.
radiator and the
Little hot.
radiator,
Here is a
it makes
brutal
it
truth.
almost
The more
impossible
you
to
chase,
do. But
the less
remember,
you
the
are
front bumper,
respected.
referred to
Not
as a
because
chrome
people
horn,
are
not
evil,
chrome in this case
but
at
because
all,
human
has been
psychology is
pushed
simple.
back. Those are what
What
they
is
call
abundant
bolt-on
is
horns,
cheap.
Joe. They can take
What is
them off and
desperate
replace them
is
if
unattractive.
need be. Will they have
you
to do
chase
that to
someone,
get the radiator
you
out?
communicate,
Well, time
"I
holds
have
the
no
answer in that one,
options.
but they are
I have no
definitely working
standards.
to
I will
try
accept
everything
less."
possible
And the
to be
world
able to pull
responds
that off.
accordingly.
Obviously, a lot of
High
damage
value
to it. You wonder
people
how
do
much
not
those
chase.
horns might have
They
been bent.
choose.
You
They
can
observe.
run them
They vet.
when they're a little sideways
walk
and bent.
away
You got to be able to
when
bolt
peace
all that
is
back
absent.
together. And so once you
Stoicism
take it
is not
apart,
about pretending
you're
you
going to
don't
have to
care.
take the old
It is
sledgehammer
about
and put that
refusing
back into
to
place.
lose
You see the
yourself.
teams, they're preparing
Stoic
for anything that
detachment
might
is
come out of
not
the bottom of that
coldness.
radiator.
People
You see where a
misunderstand
lot of fluid
detachment.
was already
They
put
think
down on
detachment
the
means you
racetrack.
don't
And what's
feel.
interesting
No.
to me is they're also working a
Detachment
little bit
means you don't
before where the
collapse.
incident
You
happened.
feel.
And I wonder,
do
when we
not
saw those
become
two cars
ruled.
get sideways,
You love.
whether or not
But
there
you
was
do
something
not
else
worship.
going on the racetrack there
You
before
desire.
that spin took
But you
place.
do not
You might be
beg.
exactly right. It appears that they
Epictetus
are
said,
looking to
"Do not
condition
seek
the
for
racetrack
events
as
to happen
well.
as you
and
wish,
of course,
but wish
individuals
for
like
them
young
to
Tyler
happen as they
Berry
do happen,
in the
and
Billy
your life
Michaels
will
prepared
go
machine, the Pro
smoothly.
Systems car.
Stoicism
they were
is
victims
emotional
after the
maturity.
circumstances
It is the
and
ability
all
to
of
say,
that. But
"I
down on
want
pit road,
this,
of course,
but I do not
more
need it."
speedy drives required
Need
there as
is where
well.
suffering begins.
even though we've had
Desire
cautions
with discipline
early in the
is
event,
freedom.
and of course,
truth about
we
attachment.
continue
Most people
to
are not attached
look
to
at
love.
what's going on
They're
at pit
attached
road.
to the idea
a lot
of
of
being
magic
chosen.
with those wrenches.
They want proof that
but
they
the
matter,
clock is ticking,
that they are worthy,
and,
that they are enough.
Hopefully,
So they
they'll be able
chase
to get that out and
relationships.
get it back in.
Not because the
But
person
boy,
is
people
right,
aren't moving as quick as
but
we
because
had
rejection
anticipated
feels like death.
them to be moving as
But
well.
rejection
So while work
is not
continues
death.
on the Patrick Emmerling
Rejection
number 1,
is
we'll step aside as we work the third
The Stoic
caution
does
of
not
today's Whelen
interpret
Modified
rejection
Tour
as
event.
humiliation. The Stoic interprets it as information. If someone does not choose you, they have revealed the truth, and truth is always a gift, even when it hurts. Stop romanticizing the struggle. There is another emotional lie. If it's hard, it must be real. No, hard is not holy. Struggle is not romance. Pain is not proof. The movies trained you to believe love is suffering, that chasing is devotion, that heartbreak is passion. But Stoic Logic says, love without respect is not love. Love without peace is not love. Love without reciprocity is not love. If you're always the one reaching, then you're not building love. You are feeding an illusion. The moment you stop chasing, something incredible happens. The fog clears. You begin to see people as they are, not as you imagined. You stop projecting fantasies. You stop rewriting red flags. You stop confusing potential with reality. You stop begging for effort. And that is when you become dangerous. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to manipulation. Because the person who no longer chases cannot be controlled. The Stoic practice, remove the fantasy. Here is your first discipline, remove the fantasy. Do not ask, what could this become? Ask, what is this right now? Do they show effort? Do they show respect? Do they show consistency? Or do they show confusion? The Stoic does not fall in love with words. The Stoic watches actions, because actions are truth. Words are cheap. Attention without commitment is cheap. Real love is expensive. It costs effort. It costs clarity. It costs presence. The second discipline, sit with the emptiness. When you stop chasing, you will feel emptiness, and that emptiness will terrify you, because most people use relationships to avoid themselves. But Stoicism teaches, sit with it. Do not run. Do not distract. Do not rebound.
Has had the dominant
do not
car
numb.
so far, but here's what took us under the most recent caution.
Sure did. And as you can see what took place there, Hodgson apparently made contact. We're not sure what happened there. It was a racing situation. Here's another look at it here. It doesn't appear there was contact made, but there it is. And then Ryan Newman backs out of it, and then the one car spins to the bottom, Joe. We're not sure, and then after the fact comes car number 59.
And the Stoic method to become emotionally
punctured on the front of that one car. The point
Because
leader,
the truth
Patrick
is,
Emmerling, plenty of
you were
damage on
never
the front
chasing them.
of that
You were
machine.
chasing
They've
what
got their
you
work
thought
cut out for them. You see the
lacked.
fluid pouring out
And
from underneath it,
Stoicism
and that
will
is
show
why
you.
there's so much speedy
You
drive
lack
around this
nothing.
racetrack.
You are
Getting
not
another
in
look
love.
at that
You are
replay, it
in
seemed like
captivity.
Ryan Newman getting off the end of the front
High-value
straightaway.
men and women understand.
All of a sudden,
The
Emmerling
moment you
checked up a little
chase,
bit more so. Newman
you
didn't want to get
surrender
into the
your
back of
power.
him. Kicked it
You tell the
sideways, hit
world,
Emmerling.
I am
Emmerling shot
incomplete.
down the racetrack
But Stoicism
forward. Teddy
teaches
Hodgson,
you are
seems that
complete
might have been
by
just an old
discipline,
racing incident as they got into
by
turn one. But that
self-respect,
has been the trouble
complete
spot here
by
today. That's where
mastery.
all the
You do
action has
not
been on
beg.
this end of the
You do
speedway.
not plead. You do not
It
shrink
certainly has,
yourself.
and of course, work still
To be
continues
chosen
as they
because
try
the person
everything to
meant
get
for
back
you
and
will not
into the
require
hunt
you
in this
to
particular
betray
event.
your dignity.
There is the number 77, the
Act
Curbs
3,
machine.
you are
and of
not
course,
chasing them.
That car
You are
is,
chasing your wound.
Corey LaJoy of the
Let's speak the truth
famed
now.
competition. You mentioned
The
Gary
truth
Putnam.
most people
He
will
lived
never
right down
admit.
the street from me
You are
as a
not
youngster,
chasing
Joe.
love.
And my
You are
dad
chasing
used to
a
bring him to the
feeling, a
racetrack
memory, a
because
missing piece.
he didn't have
You are
any way to
chasing the
get to the
version of
racetrack at that
yourself
time. But then
that
he
you
went down
thought you
south, he made a
became
name for himself.
when they noticed
He's
you.
truly a gentleman,
When they texted
a
you
gentleman
back.
car owner, a gentleman
When they wanted
expert
you.
when it comes
Because
to
for a
engineering and
moment,
mechanics as well.
You felt
1996 was the
when
last
they
time
pulled
they ran a
away,
points-paying
that
NASCAR
worth
Cup Series race here at this racetrack.
So you chase.
Gary Putnam that day
Not because
was
they
a
are
crew
special,
member, as a tire carrier
but
for
because they
Ricky
activated
Craven
something
right.
back that
unresolved
time.
inside
The gentleman
you.
that was changing tires
Stoicism
for
calls
him, Tommy
this
Baldwin Jr.
slavery.
on that same
Modern
car.
psychology
Those
calls
two
it
guys, car
attachment
owners
trauma.
in the field here
But the
today for the
reality
NASCAR
is the
Wheel
same.
Modified. You talked
You are not
about Vernon,
addicted
Connecticut,
to
your
them.
hometown where Gary
You
Putnam
are
is from,
addicted
and
to
Corey
what they
LaJoy,
represent.
whose dad was an Xfinity at
childhood
the time Busch
root
Series
of
champion
romantic
from
obsession.
Danbury, Connecticut, about
Most
an
romantic
hour or
obsession
so apart.
begins long
Danbury on the
before
western
romance.
edge of the state of
It
Connecticut,
begins in childhood.
and towards the eastern
love
side of the
was
state, Vernon,
inconsistent,
Connecticut, right along
you learned to
I-84, the two
perform
of them
for
both
it.
coming from
If
Connecticut.
affection
Sure was. Then you take the
conditional,
young up-and-comers.
you learned
Stephen
to chase
Kopsick from the
approval.
Danbury area as
If
well.
attention
In
came
addition to
only
that,
when you
Teddy
achieved,
Hodgson also
learned that
coming
you
from
must
that
earn
part of the
being
marketplace
chosen.
as well. But
So as
there's
an
a
adult,
youngster, made
you don't
his
fall in
presence
love
known in the Smart
peacefully.
Series,
You
came
fall in
out
love
like
anxiously.
gangbusters.
You
If
confuse
only his
intensity
grandfather could
with
see what he has
intimacy.
accomplished in a
You
very
confuse
short time.
longing with
His dad, of
connection,
course, the driving
because your
force
nervous
behind
system
him as well.
was trained
but
to
it looks
associate
like
love with
things are still
uncertainty.
single file,
And so you repeat
and
the
work still
pattern,
continues.
not because it feels
All
good,
eyes on pit
but because
road
it feels
or on the Patrick
familiar.
Emmerling machine for sure.
Stoic
Yeah,
Logic
no doubt. See if
says
that championship win
familiar
here can
pain
at least get back
is
out. He's
still
lost
pain.
several laps on the
Do
pit
not
lane.
call
Can
your
he get that
wound
car
a
repaired? Dale
soulmate.
Hedquist and that
Why you
team
want
to
what
get
you can't
back
have.
out onto the racetrack.
The mind desires
The
what it
one
cannot
still
control.
working there.
That
And
is
this
ego.
the thing about
Ego
this
does
team we
not
have
want
learned
love.
that even when
Ego
the
wants
tide has turned
conquest.
against them,
Ego
they've got that
wants
new radiator in
validation.
already. It
They
looks like
do.
wants to
already
win.
looking to put some water back
So when
inside
someone
of
is
it.
unavailable,
Even though the
your
tide
ego
has been
becomes
turned against
obsessed.
them often this
Not
season,
because they are
it's
perfect,
how they have been able to deal
but
with the
because they are
adversity that has
distant.
kept them in the
And
fight. It's days
distance
like this
creates
that kind of
fantasy.
show what I like to call
You
that
begin to
championship
imagine,
resolve.
to idealize,
I agree with you
to
exactly.
project.
They just never,
You fall in
ever
love with a
gave
person
up. They now
does
are
not
about to put the hood
exist.
back on the car.
You fall in
The
love
air cleaner
with
has to be
potential,
removed. They put a
with
container type
possibility,
thing
with the
to
version of
prevent
them
any dust or debris
that
from
only
getting
lives in
in
your
there
mind.
from the speedy dry.
Marcus
Now down on
Aurelius
pit
warned,
road. This
"Do
is
not
not
let
a
your
scheduled
imagination
stop.
be
We
crushed
don't
by
believe.
life."
For the number
The Stoic
64,
does not worship
the Rod
illusion.
Newhouse, Sly
The Stoic
Sabin,
sees
prepared
clearly.
automobile for Austin
most
Beer.
dangerous
Now, Austin
drug.
Beers was running in the
Hope,
fifth
hope
position. This
is
a
beautiful.
strategy call as he
But
brings
hope
his
can
machine
also
down to pit
destroy
lane.
you.
Either strategy or
Because hope
is there
keeps you
something
waiting.
wrong with the
Hope keeps you
64
attached.
of Austin
Hope
Beers?
keeps you
Was
tolerating
super optimistic coming coming
bend.
into this race
You
until
tell yourself,
today was the only
Maybe
wheel and
they'll
modified
change.
tour driver to win a
Maybe
pole
they'll
here at North
realize my
Wilkesboro.
value.
He didn't get that today. That went
Maybe
to
if
Luke
I'm
Baldwin, but they
patient.
will come in. Looks like
But
it'll be
Stoicism
tires
is
right
not
now. They'll
built
take 2
on
rears for
maybe.
Austin Beers.
So it was a
Stoicism is built on
strategic move,
reality.
and that's
If
exactly
someone
what
wanted
they're
to be in
doing.
your life,
2 rear tires,
they would
right
be.
side, left
If
side.
someone
On the
valued you,
A-team car, they're
you would
now
not feel
moving back
confused.
behind the wall
The Stoic
with
does
the
not
guns,
live on crumbs.
making an
The
adjustment
Stoic
around
walks
the
away
wedge
from
being turned
uncertainty,
in as
not with
well.
anger,
Incidentally, you
with
can see
clarity.
the one car is still
Emotions
in
are
front
not
of them,
guides.
and
They're
now
signals.
Austin
Here's where
Beers
people
makes it
fail.
back out.
They treat emotions
So
like
Austin
truth.
Beers will continue
But emotions
onto the
are not
racetrack.
truth.
You saw them
Emotions
putting a
are
whole bunch of
signals.
water. Now they're putting
Fear
cap over
signals
the top
danger.
of the carburetor
Desire
vent.
signals
Yeah, that's just
hunger.
to keep the speed to dry out.
Loneliness
A lot of
signals
the
absence.
newer cars,
But
the
none of
Fury
these
cars,
signals
and
mean
the
this
LFR
person
cars
is
as
meant
well.
for you.
The hood is sealed
means
so tight
you are feeling
that they have to
something.
take the air cleaner
And
off to
feelings
take the hood off. In
are
the old days,
temporary.
they would cut an opening.
The Stoic does
and
not
you wouldn't
obey
have to do
feelings.
that. When
The
they
Stoic
do
observes
that, they
them.
certainly
You
don't
do not
want
act
any
because you
debris
feel.
like
You act
speedy dry
because
or
you
oil
choose.
dry getting down in that
That
engine.
is
That's
freedom.
the reason for doing that.
Well, the
The
car
Stoic
was
difference,
running a
love
moment or two
without
ago because I
need.
saw the fan belt
The
spinning
weak
on the
love
front where the
desperately.
power steering
The
is.
strong love
And then they put the
freely.
cap on
The
it, and I
weak
see the
say,
crew guys
"I
taking
can't
their
live
gloves
without you."
off,
The
which
strong
makes
say,
me wonder
"I
whether or
enjoy
not
you,
they
but
are
I am
able to get
whole
this car
without you."
repaired.
It certainly
That is not
does
arrogance,
appear
that
that
is health.
something has
That is
went
emotional
awry
maturity.
for
Because the moment
second
love
time,
becomes need,
because all of a
it
sudden
becomes fear.
there was a lot of action
And fear
going there,
creates control.
and
Control
now it
creates
appears
resentment.
Not a lot of
Resentment
urgency.
no,
destroys
all of a sudden
connection.
they're back behind
Stoicism
the wall,
teaches
and
love is not
it
possession.
appears
Love is
that perhaps,
appreciation. You
maybe
do not own people.
their day might
You
be over.
experience
Could be
them.
devastating
And
for
if
the
they
one
leave,
car of Patrick
you do not
Emmerling to be out this
collapse.
early.
Because you
Sure
never
was. And
abandon
remember,
yourself.
1 year ago, they
Why
picked up
people lose
momentum from the
themselves
Thompson
in
show
love.
about mid-season, and
Most
from
people
then
don't
on,
want
there
love.
was nothing
They want
but
escape.
tremendous success.
Escape from
and
loneliness.
that success,
Escape from
they carried
boredom.
right in
Escape
to
from
the opening
themselves.
events of the season.
So they
So they're going to wave the
merge.
restart
They
off here
obsess.
because they've got the
They
tow that
overgive.
Patrick Emmerling
They
car
become a
off pit
servant
lane,
of
and he's right
attention.
at pit exit.
But Stoic
and so
Logic
Emmerling will be
says,
done for the
never
day. The
give
crew will begin to
someone the
pack up and
power
make their way
to
the
determine
next stop on
your
tour
inner
at Seekonk
peace.
Speedway here just a few
Because
weeks
peace
away from
is
now,
your
the Concrete
responsibility,
Palace.
not
But a
theirs.
tough
If your
break
peace
there for
depends
the
on
one
another
of Patrick
person,
Emmerling, but it opens
you are
the
not
door
in
and the
love.
opportunity for
You
drivers
are in
like
danger.
Justin Bonsignor and
The Stoic
Austin
law.
Beers and Steven
What is not
Kopsick, who are inside the
reciprocal
top
is
5 of
not
the championship
real.
chase to pick
Real
up some
love
points,
is
and they are
mutual.
all paying
Real love
attention
is
to what they
consistent.
see out here on the
Real
track
love
right now.
does not
They
leave
certainly
you
are,
guessing.
and you can tell exactly
If you are always
just
questioning,
that as they now
it is not
double the
love.
field up. You mentioned
It is
that they're going to be
imbalance.
heading to Seekonk
Stoicism
Speedway,
demands
one of the
reciprocity,
favorite
not
stops
because
of a
you are
lot of
entitled,
folks. But right
but
now,
because you are
we're
disciplined.
focusing on
You
what's
do not
happening
invest
here,
where you are not
as it looks
valued.
like we're about
You do not
ready
chase
to get them
where
fired
you are
back
not
up.
chosen.
Let's check in
You do not
quickly on
beg
pit road
where
with
you are
Matt
not
Dillner.
respected. The Stoic walks away early, so they do not suffer late. The moment of awakening. One day you will wake up, and you will realize you are not chasing.
What happened?
You are chasing.
Oh man, just really disappointing. We had a great car. We were moving forward, and I thought we were right where we needed to be. And unfortunately, there was a restart, and
your
we got
existence.
taken out.
You are enough
And,
by discipline. Enough by
There was nowhere.
self-respect.
We got taken out. I was at the bottom of the track, and just one of the guys got collected into
when
us.
you
So
truly believe
super
that,
unfortunate for this Fleet Works
you
#1 team. It's,
Unstoppable.
yeah, just
Because nothing is
bad
more
luck.
attractive
Like I said, we just got taken out.
someone who no longer
Getting into the corner, and that's
You
it.
stop searching for someone
Tough day
else
for your
to
points
save
leader here at
you.
North Wilkesboro.
Act 3 teaser. In part 3,
The thoughts of
we go
Patrick Emmerling
deeper
as we
than
went
most
back
people
to
ever
green.
dare.
Matt Hirschman
So we
spins
go
on the
behind
restart,
romantic
and
obsession,
Trevor
the
Catalano
hidden
putting his car
childhood
back in the right
the
direction.
reason
So
you
things
chase unavailable
out of
people,
order here when we got
and
back
the
under
Stoic
green.
method to become emotionally untouchable.
Austin
Because
Beers
the
might have
truth
been
is,
involved in that
you were never
mix-up
chasing
as
them.
well. So
You were chasing
just
what you
as
thought
we went
you
back to
lacked.
green, kind of a chain
Stoicism will
reaction
show
took
you.
place. It was a
You
ripple
lacked
effect
nothing.
because it was
You
up
are not
front
in love.
as well.
You are in captivity.
Let's see what happens.
High
On the
value
outside
men and women
lane,
understand
there you see it.
the
The
moment you
contact
chase,
was made as
you
Matt
surrender
Hirschman just
your
got out of
power.
shape, came across
You
the
tell
nose
the
of
world,
Jake Lutz, and
I
then
am
everybody
incomplete.
sliding cutting on through,
But
trying to avoid the inside lane. Watch the other cars that are involved here. Well, after the fact, everybody started checking up. There you see the contact between Trevor Catalano and Austin Beers, who was on pit lane.
You do not shrink
So
yourself.
then it was nothing but a chain
chosen.
reaction that
Because
brought
the
out the
person
caution
meant
once
for you
again.
will
as,
not require you to betray
tough break
your
there
dignity
initially. We saw
Act 4,
as we went
the
back
Stoic
to green.
system to stop chasing forever if you have listened
Matt
this
Hirschman
far.
on his
You're
own in the
already
outside
waking
lane,
up.
spinning like that. You do not
Because
see
most
that
people
very often.
never
Look here,
reach
they're
this
battling for the
point.
race lead. Oh, there was
Most
contact.
people stay
It was Jake
addicted.
Lutz who got
Most
into
people
Matt
stay
Hirschman. Lutz
emotional.
was able to get
Most
away.
people stay
And there is the 64 of
chasing
Austin Beers. I didn't say it,
their
and I was
entire
thinking it when
lives.
Austin Beers came
But you
down
are
pit
here,
road. You put
which means
yourself at
something
risk
inside
in
you
the
is
back
ready
of the
for
pack where we've
discipline.
seen
Sure do.
a
Ready for
flurry of
truth.
cautions already.
Ready for
That was
freedom.
a bit of a bold
So
and
now we
risky
move
move
from
for that team.
understanding
And I
to
think he's going to get
transformation.
away with it here, but
Here
that was
is
pretty
the
dangerous to
Stoic
have them hit
system,
outside the
not
top 5
theory,
and go back
not
into where all that
motivation.
action was going to
A
be.
Well, it
system.
might be the
First principle,
the best strategy
control
they might
the
have
inner
had or
empire.
planned for. Now
Stoicism
down on pit
begins
road,
with one law.
here comes,
You cannot
of course,
control people.
heading in.
You cannot control
Is
Kopsic,
number
outcomes.
21.
You cannot
Stephen
control
Kopsic
love.
checking
You can only
things out
control
as well
yourself.
with a quick pit stop.
Marcus
So
Aurelius called
strategy
this
is starting
your
to come
inner
into play.
empire.
Kopsic's machine
Most people abandon their empire
is, of course, the
moment they
Newtown
fall in
Pool
love.
sponsored car.
They hand over
And
the
Stephen
keys.
Kopsic brings it down
They
the
let
pit
another
road.
person determine
Guys over the
their
wall
mood.
as well. Kopsic is
Their
not only
confidence,
a good little
their
race car
peace,
driver who's running
their
up
worth.
front in the
That is
points
not
in the
love.
Monaco Modified
That
Series
is
as well.
surrender.
But he and
The Stoic
his
never
crew
surrenders the
work
inner
feverishly
empire.
to
They
set
feel
that car
emotion,
up. His dad,
but they do not
instrumental
yield
there
to
as
it.
well. And
They
there
ask,
is our
what is
14
within my
car
control?
back
My actions, my standards,
on pit road,
my
Jake
discipline,
Lutz,
my response.
and they
That
continue
is power.
to work the magic
Second principle,
There's the
remove
Hirschman
the need
60
to
on
be
pit
chosen.
lane. He'll take an opportunity to
The
get
deepest
tires as
addiction
well.
is not
The tire
romance.
rule for this race,
It is
you have
validation.
5 tires that you
Most
can change
people do
throughout
not
the event.
chase
You can only
partners.
take 2 per
They
pit
chase
stop. Matt
proof.
Hirschman will take
Proof that
right
they are
side
enough.
tires
Proof
only
that they are
here on this
desirable.
particular stop.
Proof that they
Looks like he
matter.
will head back
But
out on the racetrack.
Stoicism
Now they can
teaches
come back
the
down
man who needs
and make
approval
more
is
tire
weak.
changes,
The
but they
woman
can
who
only
needs
do
attention
2
is trapped.
per pit stop. So the
Freedom
field
begins
gets
when
the
you no
one to go
longer
signal.
require
We'll
an
cycle
audience
back around. The front row
to
looks a little bit
respect
different this time.
yourself.
It's Luke Baldwin on the
When you
inside
stop
of the 70
asking,
York.
do they
Justin
want
Bonsignor
me?
on the outside of row
And start
1.
asking,
Quietly making
do I
his way
want
forward
them?
is Tyler Ripkema in Old
That
Blue.
is
Number
the
3, a
reversal.
driver who
That
had a lot of
is the
optimism
awakening.
coming in.
You were never
And
meant
Kyle
to beg.
Bonsignor, that's
You were meant
Justin's
to
cousin,
choose.
the 22, will restart to the outside
Third
of row 2.
principle,
Well, we're going to
detach
see
from
exactly how
outcomes.
all of this will
This is
affect
where most people
this
fail.
restart. We
They do
saw what
something
happened in the
kind,
last
then
restart
expect
round,
something
but
back.
Baldwin on
They
the
show
inside,
love, then
Bonsignor
demand
is outside.
security.
And you're
They
right,
give
Tyler
effort,
Ripkema, very
feel
strong,
entitled
very
to
consistent.
return.
All the experts
Stoicism
say
destroys
it's just a matter
this.
of time before he
Epictetus
puts
taught,
Old Blue into
do
victory
what is
lane.
right,
They're
then
back up
release the
through the
result.
gears and speed.
Because the moment you attach your
Baldwin
piece
is
to an
the
outcome,
leader, and
you become
Ripkema
a
sees
hostage.
daylight on the
You can
bottom
love
of the racetrack.
deeply.
Can't
Without
quite
clinging,
complete the move.
you can care.
Bonsignor still
Without
digging in
collapsing,
hard
you can
in the
desire.
outside lane.
Fourth-time
Without
champion in the
dependence.
outside lane of Justin
Detachment is
Bonsignor
not
trying to hold
coldness.
off Tyler
Detachment
Ripkema, but
is strength.
Ripkema on the
It is
inside
saying,
groove will take
I will
over the
not
second
lose
spot and give
myself.
chase to the race leader,
Fourth
Luke
principle,
Baldwin. Here comes the
stop
battle of the cousins, though.
romanticizing people.
Kyle Bonsignor hot
Most
on the heels of
heartbreak
his
is not
cousin.
heartbreak.
And you go
It is
further back, it's
disillusionment.
Ryan Newman,
You were
who's
not
trapped
mourning
in the
them.
outside line. How about
You
the
were mourning
79
the
car?
fantasy,
Joey Braun making a
the
pretty
version
good
of
run
them
here
you
today in his
created.
debut.
The future
Certainly
you
is. Joey
imagined.
Braun
The
just
story
looking
you told
pretty
yourself.
racy now. Surprised by
Stoicism
some, but
demands
not by
brutal
all,
clarity.
as they
See
continue
people as they
to
are,
work their
not as
magic.
they could
It's
be,
been a
not
decade
as they
since
promised,
that
not
79
as
of the
you
Hill
hoped.
Enterprises
Reality
family,
is
David
the
Hill and the
cure.
entire group
Fantasy
have run in the
is the
Whelen
drug.
Modified Tour. Joey Braun
The Stoic
from Long
stays
Island, New York,
sober.
won in a legend
Fifth
car at the
principle, build a
Riverhead
life
Raceway
they cannot
earlier
compete
this
with.
month. Having a
Here's
good
the
showing
secret
there.
of high
Battle
value
for the
individuals.
lead. Here comes
They do not
Tyler
chase
Ripkema
love.
in the 3 car,
Because
digging
their
down
life
the inside lane
is
of the
already
racetrack, trying to
full.
take over the top spot from Luke
Purpose.
Baldwin.
There's no
Mission,
question, side
discipline,
by side,
health,
and Tyler
growth,
Ripkema makes it look
legacy.
so easy. Car
When you are
number
building
3
something meaningful,
advances to the front,
You do not
trying to
obsess
make the
over
crossover
attention.
as Baldwin.
You do not
It doesn't
spiral
happen
over
now.
texts. You do not beg
Tyler
for
Ripkema
presents.
out
Because you are
in
present
front with
in
Old
your
Blue
own
here
mind.
at this historic
Most
North
people
Wilkesboro
chase love
Speedway,
because they have
leading
nothing else.
and starting to open up the
Stoicism
gap gap to the second place car of Luke Baldwin as he took over the race lead 54 laps into today's event. As Baldwin now trying to find a little bit more speed. There is Ripkema, misses the entry of turn 3 and 4, and that allows Luke Baldwin to close right into the back bumper.
He is able to do just that, but by the time they get down to the bottom of the turn and back on the grass, back on the gas, it is Baldwin still working him over. Looks to the outside, it just doesn't work. Bottom shot, will it pay off? And while that's been happening, it is Bonsignor is in
Stoicism
striking
teaches,
distance,
do not force what is not
to make that
mutual.
move.
Let
It may
absence
give him
speak.
the
Let
opportunity
distance
for position
clarify.
number one.
The Stoic
Look how
does
Baldwin
not
is
demand
searching high,
love.
searching
The
low.
Stoic
He enters into turn
observes
3 a little bit
reality.
higher than Tyler
Seventh
Ripkema.
principle,
Able to get to
accept
the
loss
inside
as
off the
training.
corner, but just loses all
Every
that
person
momentum
you
and can't
lose
quite get
teaches
position
you
underneath the
something.
3
Every
car
rejection
running really well and
strengthens
continues
you.
to
Every
dominate the
ending
racing action here.
refines you.
Baldwin is here.
The
Let's
Stoic
look a
does
little
not
further back
collapse
in
at
this
loss.
situation,
They
and we
transform
see the
through
number
it.
46
Marcus
car
Aurelius wrote,
of Craig Lutz.
"What stands
We
in
haven't
the
talked
way
about Lutz at
becomes
all.
the way."
He is contending
Heartbreak
and
becomes
working his
wisdom.
way, now
Loneliness
pressuring Ryan
becomes
Newman.
strength.
Craig Lutz is
Detachment
currently running
becomes
10th
peace.
on the field.
How
were
about
not
the 23
punished.
car
You were
Carson
trained.
Lofton, third generation
The final
racer.
Stoic
Brian
truth
Lofton, well
about
known for his
love.
modified expertise.
Love
And
is not
Carson,
something
who
you
made his
chase.
debut in the Wheel of
Love is
Modified Tour at
something
North
you
Wilkesboro
meet
just 2
when you are
seasons
whole,
ago, marching
when you
to
are
the front.
disciplined,
He's put a
when you
lot
are
of
grounded,
focus this year on the
when you no
Cars
longer
Tour.
need
We
it
saw great racing
to
here this
survive.
weekend at North Wilkesboro
The
on the
moment
Cars Tour,
you stop
and he is
chasing,
charging to the front.
You become
Certainly
magnetic.
is. As we go back up
Because
front,
nothing is
and
more
it's still
powerful
Tyler Ripkema doing
than
a
someone
great
who
job
is complete.
of holding off the heavy
Closing
pressure
message.
that is being
Stop running back
applied
to chains.
by the number 7
So
of
let
Luke
this be
Baldwin.
your vow.
Baldwin
I will
cannot
not beg.
quite get
I
there.
will not
He
chase.
can run
I
with
will not
him,
abandon
but not
myself.
able to pull
I will not
alongside
confuse
or
anxiety
move to
with
the
love.
outside groove.
I will not call
3 different
obsession
leaders in the
destiny.
race so
I will
far
not
today.
worship
5 lead
inconsistency.
changes here
I will
as
walk
we
away
just
with
passed the
dignity,
3rd mark.
and I
4
will build a
cautions
life
mark
so
this
strong
particular race. This battle
that
for the
love
top
must
spot
meet me in
continues
peace,
to rage on, but
or not
Luke
at all.
Baldwin backpedaling a little bit. That allows us to
Because
look
Stoic
back here at the
Logic
battle for
is
7.
simple.
Here's Carson Lofton
If it
swinging to the
costs
inside of
your
turn 3.
self-respect,
Carson Lofton
it
dives
is
to the
too
bottom,
expensive.
tries to pick up the
You stop
spot.
searching
Will it
for
pay
someone
off?
else to
Lofton
save you.
now moves in.
Act
That
3
will bump
teaser.
the broad machine
In part 3,
back to the 8th
we go
position.
deeper than
Ryan
most people
Newman
ever
sees
dare.
the same
The
kind
ego
of an
behind
opportunity.
romantic obsession,
Will it pay off for
the hidden
him?
childhood
Not this time, but he's still
reason you
right
chase
there in the
unavailable
inside
people,
lane. And then
and the Stoic
77
method to become
for
emotionally
Coy LaJoy
untouchable.
running in that
Because
pack
the
of
truth
cars.
is,
LaJoy
you were
now
never
running
chasing
in the 10th
them.
position.
You were
Talk about
chasing
cars
what
that
you
are on the
thought
move.
you
Carson
lacked.
Lofton started today's
And
race in the
Stoicism will show
21st
you.
position. He's picked up
You lacked
14
nothing.
positions.
You are
Also,
not in
you look
love.
at Craig
You
Lutz.
are
He's
in
picked up 8
captivity.
spots since we
High
got back
value men
into the
and
green
women
flag
understand.
condition. He is on the move in the
moment you
46. He
chase,
currently rides
you surrender
in the
your power.
14th spot.
You tell the world.
And other
I
cars
am
that are making their
incomplete.
presence known.
But
The
Stoicism
54 of Tommy
teaches you are
Catalano,
complete
he's coming
by
to the front of this
discipline,
field as well.
complete
He was
by
another car
self-respect,
that
complete
was
by
involved or
mastery.
near the
You do not
involvement a
beg.
little bit
You
earlier.
do not
Trouble
plead.
now. Come
You do not
together.
shrink
Lofton
yourself
gets shuffled
to be
to the upper
chosen.
lane. He backs
Because
back
the person
because
meant
guess what?
for you
More smoke erupts
will not
from beneath
require
car
you
23,
to betray
and a
your
big
dignity.
flame will
Stop
tell the story.
before
Fifth
you
caution
send that
of the day.
message.
This time an engine
Before you
expiring
beg
for
for
Carson
attention.
Lofton up off turn number
Before
4.
you chase
And you see,
someone
look
who
at the
gives you
fluid just
breadcrumbs.
pouring out of the front of that machine as it
Listen
came to
carefully.
stop. That one
Your
went in a
emotions
big
are lying
fashion.
to
Lofton
you.
has got that window net
because you
down,
are
but it
weak,
was going
not because
so
you are
well
broken,
until then as he was
but
battling
because
for the
emotions
7th spot. You see, they
were
came
never
together
designed to
and he
tell you
got
the
up
truth.
the racetrack just
They were
as that
designed
motor
to make you
expired.
react.
Everybody able to get down to the
And
bottom, but
nowhere is this
a
more
short end to
dangerous
Carson Lofton's day when
than
he had a
in
great
love.
race car.
Certainly
Because
did a
love,
heartbreaker for this
modern
young
love,
talented driver.
is no longer
as,
about
he was
connection.
right there
It's about
contending
obsession.
as well. Here's
It's
another
about
look at it.
attachment. It's
Goes
about
to the upper
emotional
room.
addiction.
Little
You don't
bit
miss them.
of
miss the
situation on the
dopamine.
bottom.
You
Everybody
don't want
squeaks
them.
on by, but the
You want
motor
the
does
relief.
expire,
You're not in love.
and that will end
You're in
his day.
withdrawal.
After turning some
the
heads
worst
here,
part,
he really had worked his
your
way
emotions
up
will
in contention
convince you
among the
that
top
chasing
7
them
positions.
This is going to
the
be an
only way
interesting
to feel
opportunity with this
whole
5th
again.
caution coming out.
But Stoic
82
Logic
laps
says
to go.
something
This is
brutal.
about prime time to
have
be
to
able to
chase
come
love,
in and get
it was
some
never
tires
love.
on your race car.
It
So
was
we'll see
hunger.
what the race leaders do
Today,
and whether or not we've got
you will learn
a little
why
bit
your
of
heart
action
misleads
along
you.
the pit lane. Want to
Why
circle back
longing
on
is
what we
not
were talking about
destiny,
just before the
and how
caution
to
flag
finally
came out.
become
Outside of
unshakable.
Carson Lofton, who had picked up
Because the
14
strongest
position since the start of the green
do
flag.
not chase
Craig Lutz,
love.
who was involved in that incident while racing for the race
by
league,
mastering
along with Matt
themselves.
Hirschman.
In 2026, people are more emotionally confused than ever. We have endless options, endless messaging, endless situationships. Yet people feel lonelier, more desperate, more anxious than any generation before. Why? Because we have been taught the most dangerous lie, that love is something you find instead of something you build. That if you feel strongly, it must be real.
Well, they did kill
But
a
if it
team.
hurts,
There was 100%
it must
the
be
team that just had
meaningful.
killed another team, so there
But
was
Stoicism
some
has
sort of
always warned us. Emotion
retribution
is
there.
not wisdom.
Yeah, I
Emotion
think
is
it's
weather.
Yeah.
It changes. It storms. It passes. And if you build your life on weather, you will collapse every season. So in this video, we are going deep into why emotions distort reality, why chasing love destroys your self-respect,
Alrighty.
why detachment is power, and how Stoic Logic frees you from emotional slavery. This is not about becoming cold.
403. Oh,
This is about
sheesh.
becoming
This guy's
free.
going crazy.
Act 1. Your emotions are
He
primitive.
going kind of crazy.
Let's begin with a truth most people refuse to accept. Your emotions are ancient. They are not modern. They are not intelligent. They are survival software. Your brain was not designed for romance. It was designed for survival. Fear kept you alive. Desire made you reproduce. Attachment kept tribes together. So when you feel intense longing, your brain is not saying, this person is your soulmate. Your brain is saying, this person is a source of emotional safety. Do not lose them. It is biology, not
Bro,
destiny.
I have so many explosive
The Stoics
compounds.
understood this
Oh
centuries
my
ago.
gosh.
Marcus Aurelius wrote, you are disturbed not by events, but by your judgment about them. Your pain is not the person. Your pain is the story. I need them. And need
Okay.
is not love. Need is dependence. Love without freedom becomes a cage. Why you chase what hurts you? Why do people chase the ones who ignore them? Why do you crave someone who gives you less?
Okay.
Because the brain confuses
Send all that
uncertainty
over
with
to
value.
the expedition.
The less available someone is,
We're almost done with
the
it.
more your mind obsesses. It's the same
Stack of
mechanism
that,
as
A
gambling.
little bit of this,
A slot
little bit of
machine
that.
doesn't reward every pull.
There's no way I'm doing
So you
that,
keep
though.
pulling.
Let's just do
Maybe
some-
this time, maybe now,
that.
maybe if I try harder. And
Bruh.
modern dating
These
has
are what I
become
really need.
emotional gambling. You are not chasing love, you are chasing validation.
Yo, I almost
Stoic
have it,
Logic
actually.
says, if someone makes
let's
you
do that.
anxious,
Done, bro.
they are not your peace. Love is
Alright,
not
we're all set,
anxiety.
dude.
Love is
Departure
not panic.
ready.
Love is not obsession. Love is
Alright,
calm.
the entire account
Love is
is
stable.
completed across
Love
the
is
board, with the
chosen,
exception
not
of
chased.
the brand new event.
The Stoic rule, never abandon your dignity. Epictetus said, no man is free who cannot control himself. If your happiness depends on another person's reply, you are not in love, you are in captivity.
Okay.
High-value men and
Good,
women
good, good.
understand.
Can we get some ammo?
The moment you chase, you surrender your power. You tell the world, I am incomplete. But Stoicism teaches you are complete by discipline, complete by self-respect, complete by mastery. You do not beg, you do not plead, you do not shrink yourself. To be chosen, because the person meant for you will not require you to betray your dignity. Act 2. Love is a chemical illusion. Most people think love is spiritual. They think love is fate. They think love is destiny. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Most of what you call love is chemistry, a drug, a neurological storm, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. The brain does not fall in love the way poets describe. The brain becomes obsessed the way addicts do. That's why when someone pulls away, you don't simply feel sad. You feel restless. You feel panicked. You feel like something has been taken from
They're
you.
so good.
Because something has. Your brain was receiving a reward, attention, affection, hope, and now the reward is gone. So your
Still
emotions
my
scream,
go-to stream for
fix
my
it,
office every
chase it,
morning. Our
do
bulldog
something.
listens to your stream all
But
day.
Stoic Logic
Atlas
whispers,
approves.
this is not love, this is withdrawal. You are not heartbroken. You are chemically destabilized.
Madney, thank you
And the
very much for
modern
the
world has
$10.
mistaken addiction
Atlas.
for
Oh, it's your
romance.
bulldog? Oh, sheesh.
Why longing feels like meaning. Have you noticed something
I
strange?
think it's funny that
The people who give you
because
peace
someone was saying their
feel
cat
boring,
just sits there in
but the
front of
people who give you
monitor and
anxiety
watches
feel
the stream
unforgettable.
or the TV, like,
That is
super
not
close.
destiny. That is trauma. The nervous
If you
system
guys have
becomes
pictures of
attached
your
to what
pets,
is
like, watching the
unpredictable.
stream, it's pretty funny.
Because
Send those into the
unpredictability
Discord.
forces attention. Your mind becomes hyper-focused. Your body becomes alert. You call it passion. But it is survival energy. Stoicism teaches that peace is the signal. Chaos is the warning. If you are constantly overthinking, if you are constantly questioning,
I forgot to draw.
if you are constantly checking your phone, that is not love. That is emotional slavery. Love does not make you smaller. Love does not make you beg. Love does not make you lose yourself. Real love expands you. Anything else is a trap. The emotional lie, they complete me. One of the most poisonous ideas in modern culture is this: you need someone to complete you. Think about how weak that sounds. Think about how dangerous that is. If another person completes you, then without them, you are nothing. That is not romance. That is dependence. The Stoics would call this a form of self-abandonment. Marcus Aurelius never said, "Find someone to make you whole." He said, "Be enough for yourself." Because if you do not own your soul, someone else will rent it. And most people are paying rent with their dignity. Why chasing love destroys your value. Here is a brutal truth. The more you chase, the less you are respected. Not because people are evil, but because human psychology is simple. What is abundant is cheap. What is desperate is unattractive. When you chase someone, you communicate, "I have no options. I have no standards. I will accept less." And the world responds accordingly. High-value people do not chase. They choose. They observe. They vet. They walk away when peace is absent. Stoicism is not about pretending you don't care. It is about refusing to lose yourself. Stoic detachment is not coldness. People misunderstand detachment. They think detachment means you don't feel. No. Detachment means you don't collapse. You feel.
So when you
But you
did
do
the
not
expedition
become
the first time,
ruled.
did you have all 5
You
skill
love.
points?
But you do not worship.
Yeah, I did.
You desire, but you do not
I kind of made it
beg.
my mission to get it done. because I
Epictetus
don't
said,
wait for-
"Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." Stoicism is emotional maturity. It is the ability to say, "I want this, but I do not need it." Need is where suffering begins. Desire with discipline is
Oh,
freedom.
I see him. He's in the tree.
The truth about attachment.
Oh,
Most people
my
are not
God,
attached to
exactly.
love.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
actually
They are attached to the
camouflaged.
idea of being chosen. They want proof that they matter, that they are worthy, that they are enough.
Oh, he's
So they
really
chase
low.
relationships,
If he gets closer,
not
I
because
think
the
I
person
can-
is right,
Just ride it.
but because rejection feels like death. But rejection is not death. Rejection is redirection. The Stoic does not interpret rejection as humiliation. The Stoic interprets it as information. If someone does not choose you, they have revealed the truth, and truth is always a gift, even when it hurts. Stop romanticizing the struggle. There is another emotional lie. If it's hard, it must be real. No, hard is not holy. Struggle is not romance. Pain is not proof. The movies trained you to believe love is suffering, that chasing is devotion, that heartbreak is passion. But Stoic logic says, love without respect is not love. Love without peace is not love. Love without reciprocity is not love. If you're always the one reaching, then you're not building love. You are feeding an illusion.
Is it?
The moment you stop chasing,
Oh, maybe, yeah.
something incredible happens. The fog clears. You begin to see people as they are, not as you imagined. You stop projecting fantasies. You stop rewriting red flags. You stop confusing potential with reality. You stop begging for effort.
Yeah.
And that is when you become dangerous. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to manipulation. Because the person who no longer chases cannot be controlled. The Stoic practice, remove the fantasy. Here is your first discipline, remove the fantasy. Do not ask, what could this become? Ask, what is this right now? Do they show effort? Do they show respect? Do they show consistency? Or do they show confusion? The Stoic does not fall in love with words. The Stoic watches actions, because actions are truth. Words are cheap. Attention without commitment is cheap. Real love is expensive. It costs effort. It costs clarity. It costs presence. The second discipline, sit with the emptiness. When you stop chasing, you will feel emptiness, and that emptiness will terrify you, because most people use relationships to avoid themselves. But Stoicism teaches, sit with it. Do not run. Do not distract. Do not rebound. Do not numb. Face the silence, because in the silence, you meet your real self. And once you meet yourself, you stop searching for someone else to save you. Act 3 teaser. In Part 3, we go deeper than most people ever dare. We go behind romantic obsession, the hidden childhood wound, the reason you chase unavailable people, and the Stoic method to become emotionally untouchable. Because the truth is, you were never chasing them. You were chasing what you thought you lacked. And Stoicism will show you. You lacked nothing. You are not in love. You are in captivity. High-value men and women understand. The moment you chase, you surrender your power. You tell the world, I am incomplete. But Stoicism teaches you are complete by discipline, complete by self-respect, complete by mastery. You do not beg. You do not plead. You do not shrink yourself to be chosen, because the person meant for you will not require you to betray your dignity. Act 3, you are not chasing them, you are chasing your wound. Let's speak the truth now. The truth most people will never admit. You are not chasing love. You are chasing a feeling, a memory, a missing piece. You are chasing the version of yourself that you thought you became when they noticed you, when they texted you back, when they wanted you. Because for a moment, you felt worthy. And when they pulled away, that worth
Hey, what's up,
disappeared.
Bebop? Thank you very much for the membership.
Not because they are special.
Thank you very much.
But because they activated something unresolved
Where's
inside
what
you.
now?
Stoicism calls this slavery. Modern psychology calls it attachment trauma. But the reality is the same. You are not addicted to them. You are addicted to what they represent. The childhood root of romantic obsession. Most romantic obsession begins long before romance. It begins in childhood. If love was inconsistent, you learned to perform for it. If affection was conditional, you learned to chase approval. If attention came only when you achieved, you learned that you must earn being chosen. So as an adult, you don't fall in love peacefully. You fall in love anxiously. You confuse intensity with intimacy. You confuse longing with connection because your nervous system was trained to associate love with uncertainty. And so you repeat the pattern, not because it feels good, but because it feels familiar. Stoic Logic says familiar pain is still pain. Do not call your wound a soulmate. Why you want what you can't have? The mind desires what it cannot control. That is ego. Ego does not want love. Ego wants conquest. Ego wants validation. Ego wants to win. So when someone is unavailable, your ego becomes obsessed. Not because they are perfect, but because they are distant. And distance creates fantasy. You begin to imagine, to idealize, to project. You fall in love with a person who does not exist. You fall in love with potential, with possibility, with the version of them that only lives in your mind. Marcus Aurelius warned, do not let your imagination be crushed by life. The Stoic does not worship illusion. The Stoic sees clearly. The most dangerous drug, hope, is beautiful. But hope can also destroy you. Because hope keeps you waiting. Hope keeps you attached. Hope keeps you tolerating disrespect. You tell yourself, maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll realize my value. Maybe if I'm patient. But Stoicism is not built on maybe. Stoicism is built on reality. If someone wanted to be in your life, they would be. If someone valued you, you would not feel
Balls
confused.
are ruthless lately.
The Stoic does not live on crumbs. The Stoic walks away from uncertainty, not with
Yes, of
anger,
course.
with clarity. Emotions are not guides, they are signals. Here is where people fail. They treat emotions like truth. But emotions are not truth. Emotions are signals. Fear signals danger. Desire signals hunger. Loneliness signals absence. But none of these signals mean this person is meant for you. It means you are feeling something. And feelings are temporary. The Stoic does not obey feelings. The Stoic observes them. You do not act because you feel. You act because you choose.
You got everything?
That is freedom.
Just looting.
The Stoic difference, love without need. The weak love desperately. The strong love freely. The weak say, I can't live without you. The strong say, I enjoy you, but I am whole without you. That is not arrogance, that is health. That is emotional maturity. Because the moment love becomes need, it
Did you get a
becomes
free
fear.
key out of this little
And
box
fear
here?
creates control. Control creates
Here,
resentment.
wait, you did?
I
Resentment
think so. If you're on
destroys
this
connection.
mission, you get that
Stoicism
key.
teaches love is not
But maybe you're
possession.
not allowed
Love
to bring
is
the key
appreciation.
with you.
You do not
I'm
own
not sure.
people. You experience them. And if they leave, you do not collapse. Because you never abandoned yourself.
Oh, yes. Very cute.
Why people lose themselves in love.
You gotta back up.
Most people don't want love. They want
Yeah.
escape.
Wait, I
Escape
need to find
from
the whitebboard. Where's
loneliness.
the whiteboard?
Escape
Oh, it's
from
in there.
boredom.
Wait, have
Escape
you not
from
done all the missions
themselves.
before?
So they merge. They obsess.
Well,
They
I'm, like,
overgive.
looking at the
They become a
whiteboard,
servant
and
of
it's not
attention.
Oh.
But Stoic Logic says, never give someone the
Very
power
confused.
to
This
determine
one here.
your inner peace.
Yeah.
Because peace is your responsibility,
Why won't I be
not
doing?
theirs. If your peace depends on another person,
Can you do it?
you are not in love.
Is it
You
bugged?
are in danger.
I don't know.
The Stoic law, what is not
does it
reciprocal
say to do?
is not
Maybe you
real.
got credit for it already?
Real love is
Like
mutual.
building credit
Real
to
love
whiteboard?
is
Oh, do I need to
consistent.
go to
Real
the-
love does not leave you guessing. If you are always questioning, it is not love. It is imbalance. Stoicism demands reciprocity, not because you are entitled, but because you are disciplined. You do not invest where you are not valued. You do not chase where you are not chosen. You do not beg where you are not respected. The Stoic walks away early, so they do not suffer late. The moment of awakening. One day you will wake up, and you will realize you are not chasing love. You are chasing permission to feel
Yeah,
enough.
probably room that room.
But you do not
stuff.
need permission.
Yes.
You do not need someone's attention
It ain't the worst, though.
to validate your existence. You are enough by discipline,
What's it called?
enough
What's the
by
worst?
self-respect, enough by solitude,
Seller.
enough by purpose.
Funds.
And when you truly believe that,
Unless you, are
become
done for the Bobcat movement,
unstoppable.
in which case it's pretty nice.
because nothing is more attractive than someone who no longer needs to be chosen. You stop searching for someone else to save you. Act 3 teaser. In Part 3, we go deeper than most people ever dare. The we go behind romantic obsession, the hidden childhood wound, the reason you chase unavailable people, and the Stoic method to become emotionally untouchable. Because the truth is, you were
Yo,
never
Stim,
chasing
thank you very
them.
much for the
You were chasing what you thought
prime.
you
Thank
lacked.
you.
And Stoicism will show you.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You lacked nothing. You are not in love. You are in captivity. High-value men and women understand. The moment you chase, you surrender your power. You tell the world, I am incomplete. But Stoicism teaches you are complete by discipline, complete by self-respect, complete by mastery, You do not beg. You do not
No,
plead.
you're in my picture.
You do not shrink yourself.
Sorry.
To be chosen. Because the person meant for you
Wait, these solar
will
panels
not
on the side,
require
that
you
makes no
to
sense.
betray your dignity.
Way
Act
up.
4, the Stoic system to stop chasing forever. If you have listened this far, you are already waking up. Because most people never reach this
Yeah,
point.
maybe they're trying to reduce
Most
the
people
total
stay
number of teams
addicted.
and maps
Most
and
people
shit.
stay emotional. Most people stay chasing
Wait, what did you say?
their
Maybe they're
entire
trying to
lives.
reduce, like, the total
But you
number
are
of
here,
teams in a match.
which
Or in
means
the
something
match, so
inside
that
you is
less
ready
third
for
party.
discipline, ready for truth,
No, it does seem
ready
really, really
for freedom.
oddly quiet.
So now we move from
Like,
understanding
I feel like
to
we're the only ones that
transformation.
hear it.
Pretty
Here
much.
is the Stoic system, not theory, not
I mean, if we
motivation,
go
a
downstairs, I'm sure
system.
it's a cluster down
First
there,
principle,
clearly.
control the inner empire. Stoicism begins with one law. You cannot control people. You cannot control outcomes. You cannot control love. You can only control yourself. Marcus Aurelius called this your inner empire. Most people abandon their
Well?
empire the moment they fall in love. They hand over the keys.
Oh my god.
They let another person
Yeah, no,
determine
it's
their
also
mood,
shooting a snitch.
their confidence, their peace, their worth. That is not love. That is surrender. The Stoic never surrenders the inner empire. They feel emotion, but they do not kneel to it. They ask, what is within my control? My actions, my standards, my discipline, my response. That is power. Second principle, remove the need to be chosen. The deepest addiction is not romance.
Do I think they're
It is
mean?
validation.
Yeah.
Most
don't
people
know.
do not chase partners. They chase proof. Proof that they are enough. Proof that they are
So, we'll
desirable.
find out.
Proof that they matter. But Stoicism teaches the man who needs approval is weak. The woman who needs attention is trapped. Freedom begins when you no longer require an audience to respect yourself. When you stop asking, do they want me? And start asking, do I want them? That is the reversal. That is the awakening. You were never meant to beg. You were meant
Hey,
to
thank you
choose.
so much, Sam. I appreciate it.
Third principle, detach
More
from
Isaac?
outcomes. This is where most people fail. They do something
kind,
kind, then expect something back. They
I
show
can't see
love,
them anymore.
then demand security. They give effort, then feel entitled to return. Stoicism destroys this.